That document you're waving around on television, Representative Crockett, is a fraud. President Trump's voice boomed across the nation. And this one right here, is the truth that will end you. The day began with the dignified quiet of the West Wing. In the Oval Office, President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance were mapping out a new trade strategy. The conversation a seamless flow of ideas between two men perfectly in sync. The morning sun cast long shadows across the resolute desk, a picture of presidential power and focus. It was the kind of calm that precedes a hurricane. The hurricane arrived in the form of a panicked young aide who burst through the door without knocking, his face ashen. "Mr. President, you have to see this. All channels." He fumbled with the remote, and the large screen on the wall flickered to life. It was Representative Jasmine Crockett, standing at a podium, her eyes alight with a cold, theatrical fire. She had called an emergency press conference. "It is a dark day for the rule of law," Crockett began, her voice quivering with faux solemnity. "My office has received irrefutable evidence. Evidence that the wife of our own Vice President, Usha Vance, is not in this country legally. We have a document, a federal document, that shows a critical error in her file that was never resolved." She held up a piece of paper for the cameras. "This is not a personal attack. This is about principle. The law must apply to everyone, from the dishwasher to the vice president's wife. We demand that ICE investigate this immediately and, yes, begin deportation proceedings if necessary. No one is above the law." The room spun. J.D. Vance felt the blood drain from his face. It was a lie. A monstrous, twisted, sick lie. Usha, his wife, the mother of his children, a respected attorney who revered the law, accused of being an illegal immigrant. The sheer villainy of it was breathtaking. It was an attack aimed not at him, but at the heart of his life. President Trump watched, his expression unreadable for a moment. Then his jaw tightened. His eyes, fixed on Crockett's smug face on the screen, narrowed into slits of ice. He wasn't looking at a political opponent. He was looking at an enemy who had just planted a bomb in his friend's home. He snapped his fingers. The aide, startled, turned off the TV. The silence that followed was heavy, dangerous. "Mr. President," Vance started, his voice barely a whisper, "they're coming after my family." Trump rose from his chair, not with agitation, but with a terrifying, coiled stillness. He walked to the desk and leaned on it with both hands, his knuckles white. "No, J.D.," he said, his voice a low, gravelly rumble. "They're not just coming after your family. They are trying to burn my administration to the ground with a sick lie. And when someone tries to burn your house down, you don't just put out the fire. You make sure they can never strike a match again." He straightened up, his demeanor transforming from quiet fury to decisive command. "This isn't a denial. This is a counteroffensive. Get me the Attorney General, the White House counsel, and the Communications Director. Now." The Oval Office instantly became a war room. As aides scrambled, Trump paced the floor, laying out his strategy. "She held up a document," he said, pointing to the blank screen. "That's her weapon. We need to expose it as a fraud. I want every piece of paper related to Usha's family. From the day her parents set foot in this country. Find the original filing, find the clerical error she's talking about, and more importantly, find the document that proves it was corrected. I know it exists. We're not going to say she's lying. We are going to prove it in front of the entire world." He turned to Vance, whose face was still a pale mask of shock. "J.D., call Usha. Tell her she has the entire force of the United States government as her legal team. Tell her the president is personally handling this. And tell her that by the time the sun sets today, Jasmine Crockett will be the most disgraced woman in America. The next few hours were a masterclass in controlled fury. While the legal team, with the fury of a hornet's nest, located the decades-old paperwork, the media landscape exploded. Crockett's sick lie was the only story. News tickers blared. VP's wife faces deportation claim. Pundits feigned serious concern. The lie, because it was sensational, was given the weight of truth. Vance made the call to his wife. He heard the steel in her voice beneath the hurt. The lawyer in her, ready for a fight, but the wife and mother in her wounded by the sheer cruelty of the accusation. That call forged his own resolve. This wasn't politics anymore. This was personal. Finally, the moment came. The White House counsel walked into the Oval Office holding 2 files. "We have it, Mr. President. The original county filing with the transposed date, a clear typo, and we have the official federal amendment, filed and stamped 2 months later, correcting it." Crockett's office was sent both. They deliberately chose to show only the first one. A slow, cold smile spread across President Trump's face. "She didn't just lie," he said softly. "She committed fraud. It's time for the press conference." The James S. Brady press briefing room was a circus. Reporters were practically vibrating with anticipation of a defensive, wounded White House. They had no idea they were about to witness an execution. The press secretary spoke first, calmly and clinically, laying out the timeline, showing slides of the 2 documents. The first, the one Crockett had, with the error. The second, the one Crockett had hidden, with the official correction. The factual basis for the smear was gone in 60 seconds. Then J.D. Vance approached the podium. He looked not at the press, but directly into the cameras. He was not speaking to them. He was speaking to the American people. "My wife, Usha, is the daughter of legal immigrants. She is an American, she is a mother, and she is the finest person I know," he said, his voice thick with emotion, but unwavering. "Today, a politician used a lie to attack her, to threaten our family, to suggest that she should be torn from our home, for a headline." He paused. "This is not politics. This is evil, and it is a sickness. My wife is stronger than any lie. My family is stronger than any attack. And our country is better than this." He stepped back, his part said. The room was hushed. But the main event was yet to come. President Donald Trump strode to the podium. The energy shifted, the air crackling as if before a lightning strike. He arranged 2 documents in front of him. His face was a thundercloud. "A few hours ago," he began, his voice deceptively calm, "Representative Jasmine Crockett stood before the nation and told a sick lie." He held up a copy of the document Crockett had brandished. "This." She held this up. She called it irrefutable evidence. She demanded that the wife of the vice president be deported based on this fraud. His voice began to rise. "This document is a lie of omission. It is a deliberate, malicious, and disgusting attempt to ruin a good woman's name." Crockett knew it was a lie, because she also had this. He then held up the second document, the corrected, official, final version. "This is the truth," he thundered, shaking the paper in his hand. "The document that proves her claim is a complete fabrication. She had both. She looked at the lie, and she looked at the truth, and she chose to sell the American people a sick lie." He stared down the barrel of the central camera, his eyes blazing. "You're watching, aren't you, Representative Crockett? You thought this was a clever political game. You thought you could attack a family and get away with it. But you didn't attack just any family. You attacked a family defended by the President of the United States. Let me be clear. We are not just refuting you. We are coming for you. I am officially calling on the House Ethics Committee to launch a full investigation into this fraudulent abuse of power. I am calling on the Department of Justice to see if what you did today constitutes a criminal act of defamation and incitement. He leaned into the microphone, his voice dropping to a menacing whisper. You wanted to talk about who is above the law, Representative. You are not above the law. You wanted to make this about one set of rules for everyone. Good. Because those rules are about to come down on you like a ton of bricks. The attack on Usha Vance is over. The career of Jasmine Crockett is over. It ended today, the moment you decided to tell that sick, sick lie. He turned and walked off the stage without another word. The press corps was stunned into silence, jaws agape. They had come for a political fight. They had witnessed a public demolition. The fallout was a political tsunami. Crockett's lie was so blatant, so cruel, and so thoroughly exposed that there was no defending it. News channels that had promoted the story were now leading with Crockett's fraud exposed. Her colleagues shunned her. Her political future had evaporated in the heat of Trump's righteous fury. Later that evening, in the quiet of the Oval Office, Trump and Vance watched the news. Every channel was a testament to their victory. They should have known better, Trump said, swirling the ice in his glass. They should have known you don't go after our people. Vance looked at the president, a deep, profound gratitude in his eyes. Thank you, Mr. President, for everything. Trump nodded. She picked a fight with the wrong family, JD, and she picked a fight with the wrong president. President Trump used both evidence and sheer force of will to dismantle the attack. Which part of his response did you find to be the ultimate checkmate against Crockett's sick lie? Share your thoughts below, and for more stories of truth prevailing, make sure to subscribe.